Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back. Brandon again. I'm here in my disheveled looking basement because I'm in the middle of a renovation. I'm cleaning things up, I'm rearranging things, and making them look real nice, all because of that Titan HPND that you can see behind me. I made a video talking about how it just takes up way too much space. I thought I would try to rearrange some stuff here to make it more efficient. And as part of that, I also want to do a video today talking about a home gym build through Titan. Now, even though my basement currently is looking pretty gross and needs a good cleaning up, one of the things that I recently cleaned up is this head of mine. So got a nice fresh shave, and it's part of my daily grooming routine in addition to obviously brushing my teeth, washing my face, and trying to do everything I can to look as young as possible because YouTube is a young man's game. And I say that because this video is sponsored by Dollar Shave Club. Yes, that Dollar Shave Club who offers all things besides razors, including things like toothpaste, body wash, and hairstyling products. Doesn't really help me in that regard, but again, a lot of those products that get you feeling, looking, and smelling your best. And they recently sent me their Daily Essential Starter Set, so let's go ahead and take a look to see what they sent me. So here you have the Daily Starters Essential Set, and they're basically giving this away to new members for just $5. It comes with 3 trial-size versions of the most popular products that help you stay fresh and clean. Now for this, in your first box, you'll get the shave butter, body wash, One Wipe Charlie's butt wipes. You'll also receive the executive razor, which I used here on my head, which includes their premium weighty handle and a full set of cartridges, which anyone who's bought razors before knows is huge. And after the first box, replacement cartridges are sent out for only just a few bucks a month. So there you go. If you want that $5 offer, you can get it at dollarshaveclub.com/Campbell. That's dollarshaveclub.com/Campbell. So getting back to the point of this video, we're going to do a home gym build through Titan. I've done some through Rogue, through Elite FTS, through Craigslist, through kind of my budget $1,000 home gym build. Let's see what Titan has to offer, and let's jump right into their site. All right, so here we are on Titan's homepage, and for these videos, what I try to do is show you can build a complete home gym, or at least the basics of it, through one provider and one provider only. In fact, I've done videos like this for Rogue and Elite FTS as well. That always brings the question of, you can get it cheaper on Craigslist or you can get other equipment here for better. And I definitely agree. In fact, I've done videos on buying a gym through Craigslist and buying ones just through the best budget deals online. So there's different ways to attack it. In this case, we're just going to be taking a look at Titan Fitness exclusively. And speaking of Titan Fitness, one of the things we're not going to really get into is the issues that some people have, including myself, when it comes to quality control, shipping issues, and just other general problems with them. That's a video for another day. If you're looking at this, it's more than likely you've made up your mind, you want to save some money, and I will be honest, you can get a very functional home gym setup through Titan at a very reasonable cost, and I'm going to show you what I would get if I were going that route. And speaking of saving money, one of the things you can see on these banner ads is right now they're actually running a summer savings event, and they also have sales throughout the course of the year of 5, 10, 15, even 20% off. So if you are going to buy with Titan, make sure that you find a coupon code because chances are they always have something going on. So let's go ahead and start with this gym build, and I'm going to start with the racks here because that's really the centerpiece of any home gym. A lot of different categories here, and what it really boils down to is how the racks are constructed. So you'll find 2x2 racks, 2x3 racks, and 3x3 racks. You also find some variance in how thick the steel is from 9 gauge to 11 gauge. My own personal preference, I really like 3x3 racks that are 11 gauge steel. In fact, that's what I have right now in my basement through my Rogue RML 690C. You might also remember I did a review on an X3 rack that I had for a while, which was also 3x3 and 11 gauge steel. And that's where I'm going to tend to suggest most people start is the X3 rack. So let's go ahead and click on that. Now for this, you'll actually have a bunch of different options when it comes to the racks themselves. So even though it's an X3 rack, there's a couple different ones. There's a flat foot power rack, there's a half rack, there are short versions, there are squat stands with, in this case, spotter arms. They're your traditional racks. Some are deep, different varying depths. Ones are wall mountable. A lot of options here. Now, personally speaking, I'm going to tend to gravitate towards the actual standard setup with feet. I say that because a couple of reasons. Number one, this allows you to do band work. Number two, I found that these are very stable and I like the design better. And number three, they're cheaper than some of the other options. Not to say that they're the cheapest because a squat stand with a less amount of steel will obviously be cheaper, but I would worry about how stable that is and some of the functionality behind it. Now, one of the newer things are these flat foot racks that are becoming really popular. The reason they really see a lot of popularity in home gyms is because you do not have to bolt these to the ground. So with the flat foot design, it should be more stable. You don't have to bolt it to the ground. That being said, a downfall of this is you cannot do band work on it. And number two, through Titan, they do not come with plate holders attached because there's no real reason to weight these racks down any further for added stability. Although if you went the flat foot route, I would definitely suggest doing that still. So I'm going to be taking a look here at the X3 power racks with the standard typical design. Now the one that I was sent for review was a 24-inch depth version. I found this one was a little bit too shallow for my liking, but again, there's a video review talking all about that, again, in the description box or at the end of this video. There are other options as well, as you can see. Personally, I really like a 36-inch depth, and as part of this, because I'm training in a basement that doesn't have really high ceilings, I think the short version is the best way to go. Now, depending on where you're putting this in your house, if it's in a garage with a ton of ceiling clearance, go with the full height version. There's no reason not to. It's not that much more expensive at about only $24 more. But for most of us, if this is going indoors, chances are the short rack will be better. Which brings up a question of, is it going to be too short? In my experience, no. So just for some insight, I'm 6'4". I could squat in this comfortably. I could not overhead press in it, but again, given the fact that I have ceilings in my basement that I could not overhead press in anyway, that doesn't really matter. So I think this is the best bang for your buck out of all the racks they have that also offers the most versatility and is the most sturdy design. One of the things I will say with this, however, too, is I actually don't think this needs to be bolted down. As you'll see, it does come with plate storage, which is nice. So you can actually put weight plates on here that's going to add even extra stability. And because it's 36 inches deep, it is a very stable base, regardless if you're bolting it down or not, although it does come with the hardware to bolt it down. It comes with some other stuff too. You'll get J-cups, you'll get pin safeties, you'll also get some band work, or I should say pins to do band work on. So you get some free stuff on here, along with 2 pull-up bars, a skinny and a fat version, all for $475. Now, obviously there's a lot of other accessories you can add on here. In fact, right here, they're trying to push their lever arms attachments. There's monolifts, there's dip bars, there's a lot of other stuff. I'm gonna leave that up to you. I think for most of us starting out, a rack like this that allows you to do band work, pull-up work, a lot of versatility in terms of squatting and benching and maybe even doing some rows and stuff like that. I don't think you need a ton of accessories here. You might look into one of their landmine attachments, but for right now, we're just gonna stick with this basic rack. So now that we've added to the cart, let's take a look at what else we need for a basic setup. The next thing, in my opinion, that we really need is a barbell. So let's take a look at what Titan has to offer in this regard. So as this loads here, again, you'll have a lot of different options from 5-foot bars to 7-foot bars. You'll have some specialty bars as well, cambered bars. To be honest, their barbell selection for a power lifter or a general trainee isn't that great in my opinion. You have a couple of bars that are like 30 millimeters in diameter, which is a bit too thick. And then you have some bars down here like the Atlas Men's 20 kg barbell, which is probably going to be the best option for most people. And I say that because when you take a look at it, what it does is it has, your standard Olympic barbell size. It has knurling. It has ring marks for both powerlifting and Olympic lifting, which is nice. But it also has some negatives to it. So number one, it's 28.5 millimeters, which still falls within regulation for powerlifting, but I really prefer a 29 millimeter power type bar as it's a bit more stiff and more versatile when it comes to squatting, benching, and deadlifting. This also does not have a center knurl, which I think is very important for squatting. The knurl on it is medium, which tells me it's very passive, which means the grip probably isn't going to be great on it. It does have a 220K PSI, but I don't think that's really telling, as I kind of have a feeling that this isn't a great barbell, and even though it's at a great price, it is unfortunately the best option we have here. So I'm going to go ahead and add this to the cart. Again, I would really prefer a center knurl, 29 millimeter bar, but that's just me. Again, want to do this build through Titan, and this is their best option. So we have the rack, we have the barbell. Let's go ahead and take a look at the bench, because that way we can also bench. And once we have that, we could basically squat, bench, and deadlift, which is all you really need for a home gym. So taking a look at the benches here, this one is not as fleshed out as some of their other product offerings. There's really only 3 offerings when it comes to a bench. Actually 4 if you come down here, excuse me. Now, depending on which actual rack you're looking at, sometimes through Titan, they'll offer package deals where they'll throw in one of their adjustable benches. kind of getting into a little bit of Titan's build quality, I would tend to stay away from moving parts with them, especially when it comes to some of their benches. I have not heard good things about their pad quality or their functionality. So just to give you an idea, their Incline Bench, which looks really nice here, it's actually a knockoff of another popular bench, retails for $124, which is the same price as their flat bench. And in most every other circumstance through any other manufacturer, an adjustable bench, which is going to require moving parts and probably higher quality parts, is going to be vastly more expensive than a flat bench. Same cost here. It's probably a little bit telling. So for this instance, I'm going to look at a flat bench because that's all we really need. I mean, you can get an incline bench here through them, but again, I would not suggest it. And if I were doing it, I would get a flat bench. Now they have the regular one and they have a hefty pad, which is weighted at 200 pounds more. I have not heard good reviews about this pad itself, from it tearing and just not being very comfortable to being extremely wobbly. So I'm going to go with this option because it looks pretty nice. It has a handle, it has wheels on the back, it has rubber feet, so it should be fairly secure. And that's all I really need for a home gym setup. This will get me started very well and at a grand price of $735.95. So a very attractive price in that regard. In addition to being very cost friendly, one of the probably most ideal factors about Titan that many people look at is the fact that they have free shipping. So for this, traditionally through another provider, when you're talking about a 300 some pound rack, a 44 pound barbell, probably another 50 to 75 pound bench, that's going to be extremely expensive to ship, and most likely you're going to have to pay freight shipping, which is going to cost $100 to $200 minimum. The fact here you're getting it for free, not to mention all the actual items are discounted as well. $735 is a very attractive deal and is why a lot of people are really impressed and choose to go with Titan. Now, that being said, there's some other things you can really add on here if you wanted to. So for instance, one of the things that they're starting to get into is some cast iron plates, although it's not fully advertised very much on their website. So if I pull this up here, what you'll see is they do have weight sets. For this though, I would be very careful. Number one, even though I want to show you a home gym setup through one manufacturer, it's almost a no-brainer in most cases, unless you're getting some sort of specialty plate, to buy local or buy secondhand. You're going to save a ton of money doing so. That being said, I will also point out the fact that Titan did release cast iron plates earlier, I think last year, that ended up being a lot smaller, did not fit on some of their equipment, and the diameter itself of the total plate was just not ideal. So again, even though they're a cost saver in many different ways, and I alluded to other potential quality control issues and shipping issues, I would definitely stay away from this, but it's there if you're interested. So getting back to the actual main cart, again, for 700 some bucks to get that kind of setup, it is very appealing, especially if you're on a budget. So if you're interested, this is what I would get. Let me know what you would get, what you would change, and let me know just what you think about some of the items that I selected. In the meantime, as always, thanks for watching and stay big.